Hey Michael, thank you so much for joining in. And
hmm
it's a pleasure to have you. And I'm really happy that I could, collaborate with someone who's in such an amazing unconventional field. And I'm
Great.
sure our viewers are going to love this. To begin with, just tell me what inspired you to start your career as a latte artist, and how did you come up with your brand, Barista? Could you tell us?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I just sort of started in the traditional sense as a barista. I was working with coffee. I worked with coffee for about 10 years or so. And I moved to New York City where I just kind of worked with coffee on and on. I was, I've done pretty much every job. I've stocked groceries overnight. I did everything. Um, But I guess what really got me into doing latte art was I wanted to learn all the simple designs like the hearts and the little like the leaves and all of that. And after learning those initial things, I just sort of wanted to take what that was and sort of expand what it could be. I just wanted to take it
Right.
to a different level. And I started experimenting with it. I started like using different tools. So, I mean, I pretty much just use these things here, these little bamboo skewers these are generally
Oh,
what you see like at cocktail parties. These are what was behind the bar at the hotel I was working at. And I started just kind of experimenting and I made a face in the cup one day and it just looked like this really like shadowy little face. I'll send you a photo of it. And
sure.
when I went to upload it to Facebook, it it tried to recognize it as a person, like it tried to tag the image. So I thought that was a really cool idea. So in a way, I kind of had a vision. Um, I sort of envisioned myself at a party, like dressed up doing this, and it becoming sort of a thing. So that night, I started an Instagram account, and I just started posting my experiments and it got a lot of followers pretty quickly. And before I knew it, I was sort of in over my head. I was getting like people interviewed for interviews, like randomly. I mean, I made a website for it because I went on. So a lot of it too is, I mean, there's a lot to my story, but another big part of it was I saw that no one else was really doing what I was doing. So this was around 2011, 2012. And so I saw this and I thought it was a great idea. So I thought that maybe, I should just be the guy who does this. So I made a website. I really sort of took as much ownership of this idea as I could. And and then I just sort of made it my goal. So that's
Awesome.
kind of what I found that was what I guess a big inspiration for me was the fact that it wasn't being done. So I made sure to make that like a real, I mean, I guess that was important to me.
So I think you grew pretty organically.
hmm
Social media.
Absolutely, yeah. And I didn't really like do it in a sense where I didn't really think it could be a career or anything. It was more just something I found therapeutic when I didn't have the most fun at that job, bussing tables and making coffee in between. So after a while, I began to really look forward to going to work because I had access to an espresso machine and I could do art and I could come up with content to post on my Instagram,
Right.
the Facebook page. So in a way, my workstation uh, became my art studio. So I just took one thing and made it into something else.
Wow. So were you truly passionate about coffee? So since your childhood days, uh, so do you have like a special connection with coffee?
Not necessarily when I was a kid. I mean, I it was more of an artist. I consider myself more of an artist than a barista by any means. I've always just been like that. Like coffee in the beginning was just it was a job I really just liked to do. I liked being able to interact with people. I liked having a part of their day. I liked seeing the same people every day and just being able to provide a service. And that's one of my favorite parts of it is coffee. It's not about the beans themselves, but like the people. And
Right.
but all in all, yeah, I think like an artist. I don't think like the barista. I'm not trying to figure out the next flavor of drink. I'm all about the aesthetics of it. So that's kind of how I see it, as more of a medium than like a beverage.
Right. And did you undertake any special training for this, or it's something that you developed over time?
Oh, this is just something over time. Everything I do is the results of just experimenting and trial and error, finding what works, finding what doesn't work. I've wasted a lot of milk, you know, and I've probably done at least 10,000 of these. And that's
Wow.
like a modest number because I figure the way that I came up with that calculation is I looked at my Instagram account and I have well over 1,000 posts. And I'd say for each one that I've posted, I've done at least 10. So that's sort of the math I came up with.
So I think it was like a trial and error, and that's how you kind of made it.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, but coffee is just the medium. I think like I've always just had that like artistic sort of ability in a way, anyways. Like my grandfather was a portrait artist as well. So he did portraiture, all kinds of stuff. I didn't like learn necessarily from him, but I think that might just be like something inherent within me. And again, I could send you some photos of his portraits too, if that sort of gives you a more broad story of
Right.
what I'm doing. So definitely that's sort of how I just see it. Like I could probably do the same art with like salt or if you're an artist, someone can hand you anything and you can make art out of it.